Today is supposed to be 100 degrees in Utah. So I figured I'll show you guys a comparison with the air conditioning for Ford and Ram trucks. Someone did ask me to do this test, and I'll put your comment here. I borrowed these trucks from Larry H. Miller, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram in Sandy, Utah, and Larry H. Miller Super Ford in Salt Lake City. Let's go ahead and get this test going. Now you guys have been pretty much seeing me use this for some of my tests. Let's go ahead and see how hot the paint is. Now this is a dark blue and it's showing 151 degrees. Black is about the same, about 152 degrees. So the darker colors obviously are always going to make your car a little bit warmer, which is why a lot of people choose white, which is why I like to get white cars too. Now, I'm gonna get inside this oven real quickly. These trucks have been sitting here for all day, obviously. And I went and did other things to let this truck cool down because I drove it down here. So now it's hot inside. Here is the dash. Oh my goodness, can you guys see that? 193 degrees on the dash on the Ram. As far as the seat goes, well, that's not too bad. 125 degrees. Now, as far as the Ford goes, yeah, same story. Hopefully you guys can see it. It's 100 and, oh, you guys probably won't be able to see, but it's 190 degrees on that dash. And as far as the seats go, oh wow. It showed about 127 and then it kind of tapered back down to 122. But yes, it is super hot inside the trucks for sure. Now, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna remote start both of these trucks, okay? And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to basically let them run for about 5 minutes and we're gonna see which truck can get cool the quickest, okay? Now, what I did too, I wanted to point this out earlier, I did get a mega cab because I thought this would be fair, obviously, to use a bigger cab from Ram, because the crew cab is a little bit smaller. I think this is a better apples to apples test. So let's go ahead and remote start. I'm gonna turn on the max AC for both trucks too. So we have about 3 minutes left, okay? Now when you put it on max AC, all it does is force the air out of these vents on both trucks, okay? You know what I should have did? I probably should have faced all the vents in the same direction too. But we can always do this test again in the future. Now, I also turned on the ventilated seats because I wanted to see just how cool the seats can get just sitting here, okay? So AC's on full blast on both trucks, max AC, recirc, all that good stuff's on. And then we have the ventilated seats on, so we could kind of get an idea of how cool those seats get as well. Both trucks have black interior. They're both dark colors. Even though this is not black, that dark blue is pretty black. Now I'm sure someone's going to say that I could have just did this so you guys can see that number better, but it's actually not as hot on the outside. It was like 150 over there. And 146 on the Ford. So you can kind of tell the Ram trucks are actually a little bit warmer on the interior. Now, I've owned a Ram truck in the past, and I did complain pretty heavily about the AC. I took it into service a couple times. I asked them, hey, can you guys check the air conditioner on this truck? It doesn't seem like it gets that cool. And I remember a few other people in the comment section said, hey, I have the same issue. And a few people actually changed the refrigerant to something different to get a cooler air conditioner. They had success with that. I've never really had a chance to test Ford, but if you own a Ford, let us know what your thoughts are on your air conditioning. Now, I probably have maybe another minute or so, and then we'll go ahead and check out the AC really fast. That way it's really apples to apples. So starting with the Ram, here are the seats. You can really feel that air coming out. Although it doesn't come out of the seat, it's kind of like a sucking effect. It doesn't come out, it goes in basically. But you guys can see those temperatures, 116. And then that air is at 77 degrees. and it's been running for 5 minutes now, so keep that in mind. So 5 minutes. And then for the Ford, oh wow, so these seats are cooler for sure. And I can tell that the air, it's the same as the Ram. It doesn't come out, it's really kind of sucking in, and you could feel that a lot more on these seats. Now for the AC, oh wow, the fan speed is a lot higher too. Wow. So you guys can pretty much tell right out of the gate which truck is cooler, right? I'm gonna drive this truck down the road, and then I'm gonna come back and then see what the temperatures are, and then I'm gonna drive the Ram down the road. And what I'll do is I'm gonna go ahead and focus these vents in a way where I would want them to be at, so I can kind of get that feel. And like I said, we'll do the exact same for the Ram. I'm gonna keep the Ram truck running just so you guys can kind of get a good idea of the temperature. The ventilated seats on the Ford work great. I can feel it actually on my back. What I'll do sometimes, I'll push out the lumbar a little bit and I'll lean forward, and that gives you a nice circulation on your back, because my back is definitely sweaty right now. You guys can see inside this truck is showing, well, on the outside it's saying it's 112 degrees on the outside, but yeah, sometimes that goes off of the interior temperature as well. But once the truck cools down, that temperature starts to come down too. But I'll try to do this in the same spot for both trucks. Oh my goodness, it's just coming down. So it's at 51 degrees. Now from here, let's see. Yeah, 48 degrees. And when you get really close to it, I'm getting 31 degrees on the Ford truck. Now, when I get back to the dealership, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep my legs close together like this, right? And then I'm going to show you guys the temperature right when we get back, so you guys have an idea of how cool the seats can get. So you guys can see that temperature under me right there. 66 degrees. I mean, this interior does get cooler, and it might be in part to that lighter roof too. So when you have the lighter color roof, that's why they do that, is to really help with the interior temperature, to obviously maintain and not have to run the AC as long. But it doesn't look good. I would just prefer just to run my AC longer. But this truck is definitely cooler. Now here is the end here. So I'm getting like, whoa. You guys see that? That is insanity. Now, if I scoot back, that's incredible. Now we're gonna keep the truck running for a little bit longer. We're gonna drive the Ram, and we're gonna see the temperatures for that truck. I'm really bad at calling a test before it's even done, and I'm not gonna do that in this one. I'm gonna try my hardest not to call it, but I can already tell you who's gonna win this. It's insanity. Like, this is, I am really happy I did this test back to back. I mean, for people who live in their cars, like if you do hot shot, right? This is gonna be important to you if you travel a lot, if you like to go RVing in the desert and you plan on driving, yeah, this is gonna be important to you. But yeah, this truck here has max AC on. You guys can see it says max AC. All right, here we go. So around where that Kia sign was where we showed it for the Ford. But you ready? All right, here we go. Now it's showing a lot lower temperature because it's cooled down compared to the Ford. So yes, when it comes down to both of these trucks, guys, hands down, the fan speed is better than the Ford. That's the very first thing I noticed when I jumped out of that truck into this one. Now, it's saying that the AC is getting that nice cooler temperature, but the cab still feels warm. Now this truck does have the black roof, so that right there alone is making a big difference on the temperature of this truck. So even though it's saying the temperature out of the AC is cool, just like the Ford, because you guys saw it's below 20. And I want to say the Ford might have gotten down even a little bit lower, like in that 10 degree range when it was going through here. But I can clearly tell that this cab inside is hot. It's a lot hotter. And I mean, I'm not exaggerating, it's a lot hotter inside of here. And I'm willing to bet you it's probably because of the roof. So maybe when I redo this test in the future, what I'll do is I'll just drive the trucks back to back. I'll keep one off, turn it on, and I'll see how long it takes within 5 minutes to get cooler. So that's what I'll do in the next video I do in the future, because this may not have been apples to apples as I'm thinking about it, because my first attempt doing this. But it doesn't really matter. Even though the temperature coming out of this vent is cooler, it's the same as the Ford for the most part. This cab, even though it's still slightly smaller, having the black roof, it does take more time to cool down for sure. I can clearly tell a difference when it comes down to that. So in between legs, right here, I'm getting 68 degrees. So I think it was what, 66 on the Ford. And I feel as though the ventilated seats, they work well in the Ram, but the Ford just has a little bit more air coming out for sure. On the dash, if you guys can't see it, I'll just call it out. So that temperature up there is going to be 123 degrees, okay? 123 degrees on the dash. On the Ford, I'm getting like 99, 100 degrees on the dash. And again, coming back over here, more fan speed compared to the Ram. And this cab, these seats are cooler. Lastly, on the roof here, you see that? We're looking at 68 degrees versus 86, 87 degrees. So that just goes to show you, having that darker roof will definitely keep this interior a little bit warmer longer, and you're gonna have to run that AC a lot longer at max, which means you're gonna use more fuel. So I hope this was helpful. This was actually really informative for me, because living out in Utah, this is a desert. It gets hot, even though it's a dry heat, and when you're in the shade, it's great. When you're out in the direct sunlight, especially driving, it's almost unbearable sometimes. Like, it's really hot out here. We'll have to put that Ford up against the Chevy truck, because this truck lost today. I'm serious when I say this. Like, the seats are still really warm, and yeah, it feels warm inside the interior. Like, it feels warmer. Let's go ahead and see what temperatures are coming out of here, and I'm going to show you guys back to back here for both trucks. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to aim it from back here, and let's use 38 degrees for the Ram. 38 degrees. Let's check out the Ford. Even in the second row, you can tell the difference. I rest my case. The Ford won this, hands down. Seats are cooler. The interior gets cooler a lot quicker. Mostly probably in part to the lighter color roof. When I redo this test, I will get a platinum trim level, or I'll get a truck with a black headliner, because I'm curious now. I might even do a black headliner against a light color headliner to see now, because at this point, this is interesting how much cooler it is inside this truck, and where that heat is coming from in the Ram is on that roof, you know? So I still stand by what I say. I would still like the darker roof with the black interior. It just looks a lot better. When I got my Ram, I did get that navy blue and tan, so I had the lighter color roof, so that might have helped me too. But I hope you guys liked the video. This was fun for me. Let me know your thoughts. And what I'll do is I'll try to brainstorm this for the future, like to do this test over so it can be more apples to apples. But no question about it, the Ford was the cooler interior truck. And even when the truck's sitting out in the sun, that ram was hotter too. And it's probably because of that roof. See you guys soon.